I want to jump into polling question number 2, Miles, if you don't mind, around process intensification methods. So we're going to ask the audience, which intensification methods are you using at the moment? We're using RM perfusion bags, using external cell retention devices, or using other methods. While our audience is responding to that, Paul, Barrett, do either of you have opinions on which process analytical technologies or techniques best align with which intensification methods? Are there matches to be made there?
Let me jump in. So with regards to, I'd say, external cell retention devices and perfusion bags, absolutely, for sure, with external cell retention devices, because we had them. We had fermenters that were in steady state. We kept them at a fixed cell density at all times. So we were monitoring what it was in the bioreactor as well as in the cell retention device. Based on that cell density, especially in the cell retention device, we had the ability to adjust and modulate. In other words, we had a purge pump. We basically were able to pump and remove high cell density cell culture out to keep that reactor in steady state. So I definitely know that that's a ripe for the picking for PAT technology there.
Yeah. Paul, anything to add before we take a look at those polling results?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a fit for purpose question, and I would agree with and support Barrett's answer.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look.
Ooh.
Other methods on me? Yeah.
Tie.
All right, Barrett's got some. He's got some commentary there. He's chuckling.
No, it's a tie.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move on to the infrastructure. Actually, before we do that, let's take a couple more audience questions. Okay. So we had the gaps in upstream question. Now we've got the Deepak is curious about gaps in downstream. Barrett, I think you've touched on that a bit. Obviously, you've touched about the challenges there in downstream, but in regards to plugging PAT into downstream, do you have any commentary on what the big challenges or gaps are there?
Yes. The first thing that jumps out is bioburden and endo, right? You're usually measuring those throughout the downstream process as you go from chrome step to chrome step. So until you can get that, and I know usually bioburden requires a fair amount of sample. You're not doing it. The ability to be able to do that in real time would be extremely useful. I also mentioned just when you're regenerating your columns, things like that, if that's something that's going to need to be accounted for. That's the big challenge. It's you're regenerating your columns, your hold steps when you're taking your samples, and the ability to have those sensors that are measuring. Every process is specific. So aside from having the ability to measure concentration, conductivity, pH, what other CQAs are specific to your process, and those are going to have to be able to be monitored as in real time, as opposed to just pulling samples, doing analytics offline, and then continuing your downstream train.